Okay, so I wanted to talk about how the evolution of humanity is questioned at a basic level by a lot of people from around the world who simply either don't have access to or are unaware of um, the human sort of migratory exodus out of Africa quite a bit of time ago. And I wonder whether people realize that they were coming out of Africa in waves. It wasn't just sort of one group that came out. It was multiple groups, and they went in different directions, and they were isolated in certain parts, and they became their own unique variations at different times before the modern humans came out of Africa. So one of the ways we know this is through genetic analysis, because there's a sort of a continuity of genes coming out of Africa, from East Africa to India and to Australia, in terms of the Aborigines and successive waves of people coming and replacing and intermixing over and over again, till we arrived at the current migratory patterns, which are still trackable with our Human Genome Project and other 23andMe type of projects that use information to extrapolate migratory patterns and unique genetic characteristics of people from around the world. Now, one of the most important pieces of evidence, I think, with respect to understanding evolution and how we're part of the tree of life, is understanding how the endogenous retroviruses, or ERVs, and their genetic markers are used to determine lineage with respect to our genetics, and how that could be used to track back in terms of any sort of movements in our migratory patterns and other information that could be extrapolated. So I wonder how many people who are absolutely certain that they never came from monkeys, and they are people have always been in one place, yet they are completely unaware of the migratory aspects and the selection pressures that are at play in terms of those decisions, and what some of those decisions might have been, is something that we can potentially look at by extrapolating it from an evolutionary perspective in a interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary way. So let me know what you guys think, and whether this information is, sort of available to the average person, which it is, or are we aware of this, or is it still a spectrum of experiences, and we're obviously too busy, and some of us have more time than others.